Slack space. All right, we are recording. Thank you for joining UCGIS Week 2022. Thank you for all coming this afternoon. Up front here, I think Danielle, can you scroll back to the, there we go. If you would like to join our Slack space, if you haven't already, it's ucgisslack.com, and we have a special channel for this presentation where we will post links and maybe questions and continue the conversation about this topic after today. And also we will make sure that everyone knows that we are recording this and we plan to upload and share those on YouTube. So the first session has been uploaded. I need to double check it to make sure it's all good. So that's working, so you can come back to this later. And of course we have, because everyone loves surveys, we have an event survey. So if you can help us with future planning of this conference, any ideas what we can do better, just so everyone, as a disclaimer, this is a volunteer effort by all UCs. I believe all UCs are involved this year in our planning and coordination groups. And special shout out to Danielle, who is our cat wrangler of the year. So thank you for getting us together and making this happen. This is a free event and we hope to continue with this in the future. And also, if any of you would like to be involved in UCGIS leadership, you can reach out to myself, to Danielle on our Slack channel, or find out more about it. It's on our UCGIS hub page, and there's all sorts of resources about it. But if you want to get involved in the latest and greatest and what's happening in GIS as far as leadership activities, individual campuses, it's a great group of people to work with, and we welcome anyone who wants to get involved who's with a UC. And we also, I think we have room for external folks too in the future as far as guiding us and helping us move forward. So speaking of, not to call Brian Baldwin out as being external because he's a friend of ours, but Brian is our first presenter and he's going to talk about shifting the gravity of GIS to the web. So don't have any other formal introduction for you other than you've been great to work with and you've been a great partner, and we always appreciate the support that we received. So I will hand over the floor to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Erin. Thanks so much, Danielle. This is fantastic. And everybody, so great to be here in a virtual setting. I've got a bunch of slides, a bunch of material, and not a lot of time. So I will kick this off and get started. So first, quick introduction to myself. Name is Brian Baldwin. So I work at Esri as a solution engineer. And I've also worked in the geospatial GIS field for a long time now. And I'm not going to, list off all these little pictures around the horn, but got my graduate degree in urban and regional planning down at the University of New Orleans, worked in Hawaii for a spell, worked in Milwaukee for a little bit of time as a crime analyst. And I also teach on the side as well. So I'm adjunct faculty currently at RIT up in Rochester, New York, and I've also taught at a few other institutions. So I love this field and, have been involved in it in a long time. So I'm really passionate about GIS. And so part of that passion stems in this discussion. And so I want to have us all do a quick kind of time travel back to 2004, if we'll journey through this time tunnel. So 2004, what took place, what happened that year? So Facebook was launched. If you were an undergraduate, or if you have undergraduates in a section that you're currently teaching, this is probably how old you were or how old they were at that time. And then this is what your phone looked like. So you're lucky if the screen was in color. I had somebody just laugh at me the other day when I showed this slide. But there was a phone. It had buttons. You pushed it and you called people with it. It wasn't a GPS unit. It wasn't your camera. It was literally a phone. And so that same year is when ArcGIS 9 launched, which is what for a long time kind of ArcMap has been a standard desktop tool a lot of us have used. And the point to drive home here is that GIS has changed a lot in those 18 years, and technology in general has changed so much. And so this is a big push that I've had to faculty and to educators and to learners out there to just ensure that you're learning and teaching kind of the latest and greatest of what is out there in the field. And just looking at some of the agendas for the other sessions, there's a lot of great kind of current recent stuff going on. And it just need to make sure a lot of that makes it back into your curriculum. And that if it's, not there for students, you can take that initiative and take some of these things up yourself. So for me, the be all end all should not be that we're taking a map or taking data and information and then publishing and creating a PDF or a printed layout of a map. It should be something that can be a lot more dynamic, something that can be a lot more interactive, have real-time data, real-time information. In my title, it's about shifting GIS from the desktop to something that is really a web-based paradigm, something that's web-based tools, interactive, mobile, and is a responsive design. So I wanted to start this a little bit with a story, and I love the ideas of using stories and trying to really engage the audience and how do we make GIS more engaging, exciting, something that is, again, shifting that conversation from just a desktop tool to something that a lot of other people can use and be more inviting. So on the screen, I've got a picture of monarch butterflies. And this was news to me about a year ago, the fact that they were just added as an endangered species. So the numbers of monarchs have been plummeting across the US and across their native habitats. And we need to do something about it. And so the first thing that you do as a GIS analyst or somebody in this field is you want to understand where monarchs are. How do we start addressing what this problem is and what is the root of this problem? And so it's not just about understanding and mapping the locations of the monarchs and seeing where they are in the habitats. It's starting to connect the major players. It's starting to connect the people. It's connecting the agencies, the organizations that can be part of the solution. And so more than just creating a map or a finished kind of product to share data with, this screenshot is showing an example of taking a dashboard that is showing participating organizations that have come together to say, let's organize and share where right-of-way and corridors are so that we can preserve these habitat corridors for monarchs to be able to actually migrate and navigate across the US. So rather than looking at this issue in just disparate locations, it's how can we use the technology of GIS to tie together all of these different pieces and parts, all these different players, and start to actually make a huge impact. So there's an image on the screen of some of these corridors. It could be departments of transportation. It could be utility companies. And so rather than using the GIS for just PDF maps or printing off maps or documents, it's creating these mobile applications, desktop dashboard applications that can be shared with multiple different players, stakeholders, and then information can be shared really rapidly. So GIS has changed a lot. These are a couple just different examples of some of the use cases for the tools and the way people are using the technology today. The one that we're probably all tired of seeing is the Johns Hopkins dashboard, the COVID dashboard in the middle of the screen. And there are a couple other examples sprinkled around that include real-time information, and include mobile tools, include the idea of data coming in as services, or different applications and the ways to configure those, or automation and scripting. What are ways that we're using the technology today? People probably chuckle when this slide comes up. We probably all recognize this screenshot for those that have been in this field for a little while. So this is the John Snow cholera map. And the reason I bring this up is because if you think of some of the ways we've used GIS, and if in the classroom, that layout is still kind of the be all end all, things really haven't changed then much in about 150 years. John Snow's methodology was creating this map, by hand and kind of handing this off to a cartographer to build this out for him and show that relationship between the pump and the cases. But a lot has changed since then. So the way that the Johns Hopkins dashboard differs from that cholera map is really consequential for me in terms of the data being fed in real time, data coming from multiple, in fact, hundreds of different sources, if it's county, state, regional, local, national governments that are all coming into this one cohesive view of information. And so it's about shifting away from just some of the cartography and the layout designs to something that is this, application that people can share, interact with, use, and it's just using information in a lot more dynamic of a way. So for me, these changes really have had a dramatic impact on the skills and the needs for the workforce today. And so what are some of those things that students need as they're coming out of programs, and what are the skills that employers are looking for? So these are just a couple examples from some recent job postings. And these point to some of those skills that our employers are asking about. And on none of these does it say ArcMap, or does it point to, cartography is still very important and cartographic design is, but it's not the critical element that people are looking for. It's that ability to build out dashboards, to use story maps, to use Python. It's using mobile tools, mobile data to capture information, using ArcGIS Online. I have one highlighted on here that I really love. It's that ability to have a conversation with the air quotes business customers, to be able to sit down and understand what the requirements are from people. What specific things are they looking for? And then how can you build that out for those users? ArcGIS Enterprise, ArcGIS Online, user requirements again. Story maps, mobile web, the ability to create scripts. So taking all of these things and some of these changes, we've looked to try to boil this down into really these 5 different buckets. And so in terms of what a modern GIS is, this is how we've tried to define it. And I'm going to call out just one of these as the example that I'll have in kind of my next story. And that one is the data as services. So rather than focusing on information and data in a desktop environment, a huge focus of information today, and especially in GIS, is as data as a service, or something that you can just pull in from an authoritative source over the web. And so an example of that goes to my own teaching. And so I found myself a couple of weeks back getting ready for a lab, and these were some of the examples of what I wanted the lab to accomplish. Some pretty basic GIS, processes, execute a table join, do a SQL query, what are the basic concepts of spatial analysis? And I ended up building out the same old kind of, document probably many of you have built out and many of you have seen, that gives a step-by-step design of how to go through and accomplish this. And so I had to take a step back and say, there's probably a better way to do this. And this is just one resource I wanted to direct people to. And I've used a number of these lessons as supplemental material in my own lectures and my own labs. And I know a lot of other educators who've done the same. And if you're a student out there as well, these are all free, they're open, there are hundreds of different applied lessons, there's full kind of step-by-step guides, and there are some of the latest tools and methods, and some of them are 45 minutes long or 10 minutes long. There are others that are up to 3 hours long and have machine learning and imagery, or one of the ones on the screen here is examining racial disparities in police stops. And it's using machine learning and it's going through data, and it takes about 2 hours and 40 minutes to complete. So a pretty deep dive into using that kind of information, or something that's a little bit broader and higher level. So there's a wide array of resources there. So I've talked with a couple faculty members, and this is sometimes a guilt I've had at times and I've heard from others. The joke here is, did you just assign one of these lessons as a lab? Maybe I did. But sometimes it's okay to take a lot of this material that's already made and baked and just use that instead of rewriting all of this stuff over and over again and trying to maintain all of your own kind of handwritten notes and screenshots. because all of this technology changes so rapidly. So the one example I've used, and this goes back to that data as services example, is this one, this policy mapping, safe streets to schools. So the learn lesson has people go and look at data for a set location. But the way that I take and spin it after they've run through the module is to go and grab data that shows pedestrian vehicle crashes in Rochester, New York, and schools. And then they have to just use the hosted ArcGIS Online analysis tools to do some basic enrichment of that data, create some buffers, join those features, and then get some summary statistics for that information. And so all of that can be accomplished just up in ArcGIS Online using those analysis functions that are just built in. And it can be done using hosted data and hosted information, these authoritative data sets that are just live on the web. So you don't have to go download shapefiles or file geodatabases. You can just get running with all this information that's hosted. And you can take and localize these same kind of lessons, for your own region, or you can have students go out and find the data in open hubs or in other open data repositories. So that data as services is a great, example of going to grab kind of just authoritative information and data rather than kind of going as kind of a file geodatabase approach of information. And then with the time, I wanted to just jump ahead to one last thing and just show a couple resources that are out there, and I'll drop these into the chat, seeing that I have 2 minutes left. So to reinforce this, we've got a number of different kind of curriculum that we've put together recently, and we just launched this a couple weeks back, called a Modern GIS curriculum that has links to resources, material. Oh, somebody steal my screen. Sorry, back. I'm going to steal the screen back for 2 seconds, and then I'll wrap it up. Okay, so I've got this curriculum that I'll drop in the chat. There's also the link to these learn lessons that I'll drop in the chat. These are all updated and verified, and we check these usually monthly. And that's one thing I love in here. If I click on one of these, is this beginner lesson. If I click and look at this, oh, this one I kind of cheated, it looks like, because it says this one was last tested October 27th, so literally tested only 2 weeks ago. So we're verifying the data, the workflow and all the screenshots in that to make sure it's good to go. And then also there's this fantastic resource called Teach with GIS that's out there. Apologies, let me jump to my last closing slides. So feel free to reach out to me via email. You can reach out to me via LinkedIn. I'll drop the links to some of this material into the chat in 2 seconds as I close up. And that's it for me. I really appreciate the time. I know this was a rapid run through, but GIS has changed dramatically. Go and search out the latest, greatest. There's so much amazing material out there that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And so thank you very much for the time, and look forward to engaging with anybody who'd like to reach out. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. Hopefully you can hear me okay. For some reason, I can't hear myself.
I hear you.
Okay, thank you. So we do have a little bit of time for any questions. I'll monitor the chat too to see if there's any. Someone did ask for a save chat button. Yes, we'll work on that. Any questions for chat, or anyone want to jump in and ask any questions for Brian? There are a lot of great links in the chat that we will also copy and make sure they're on Slack, and hopefully the agenda also. And it looks like our second presenter is ready to go. Welcome, welcome. And let me get my material together here to make sure. All right, I just wanted to introduce Mohammed Hamza. He is been freelancing since 2017. And I think hopefully everyone here can get some great information about what's available with GIS and freelancing. So welcome. And I say that as a former freelancer. So it's a pretty rewarding opportunity if you are able to do it. So I will turn it over to you, and thank you for contributing to us today. Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Erin. 5 years ago, I never could have imagined that one quote can change my life. So Rupi Kaur said in her very famous book, Sun and Her Flowers, the way you talk of yourself, the way you degrade yourself into smallness is abuse. She is very attached towards actions and not towards words. I'm going to explain it how it relates to our topic GIS and freelancing. But let me introduce myself. My name is Hamza and I am level 2 freelancer at Fiverr.com. I have been doing freelancing since 2017. I've completed 350 plus projects with 4.9 out of 5.0 rating. And I have developed and maintained this portfolio during my graduate studies at Arid University. So, well, I have completed this whole presentation, and I have distributed in 3 steps. So the first one step is why you should join freelancing, and second one is why you should get my tips to follow how you should go through with freelance, and third one is how to make a very sleek and very awesome Fiverr portfolio. So coming to the quote that I have mentioned, the Rupi Kaur is a very famous writer. He is New York Times bestseller as well. So he mentions that the way you talk of yourself, the way you degrade yourself into smallness, he is more focused on presenting yourself in others' word and not in your own word. So she believes in visualization on the basis of concrete base. Yeah. So coming to the point, this is my account, and I have done my undergrad studies from Arid, and I was also founder of Society of Geographic Information and Remote Sensing, and I have been intern at Greenwich. This is just a little intro of mine. No. So why you should start freelancing? Coming to the point, right now, the population of US is almost 300 million. By 2028, it is a market research that almost 1/4 of the population is going to be freelanced. So it is 1.2 trillions. It is just equal to the GDP of Russia, or also equal to the GDP of Australia as well. So it is a bigger market. You can work from anywhere, you can work anytime, and you have the option to choose the job. So here's another very interesting fact that Google has more freelancer, 54%, than its permanent workers. So it's my second point why you should follow my tips on making your freelance platform portfolio. So whenever you will search Fiverr, on Fiverr, you will search by keyword GIS, you will find more than 1,000 available services. So there are 1,000 users, and out of 1,000 users, 500 users are from Pakistan. And I can attribute these, I'm not going to say that all of these 500 freelancers belong to my society, but I can say it with a very valid remarks and with very strong ways that more than 300 of freelancers are somehow directly or indirectly related to this society. Fox GIS section is also the contribution of my society named as SOGIS that I have mentioned as well. This is a little history of SOGIS. So it was started back in 2017 by 4 students. Yeah, here comes interesting portion. Yeah. I'm going to display a few of projects that I have done, and I'm sure that these projects will appeal you. So this is a project from Art Scene, this is from City England, and it's not this project is this side. For some of maps. The very important one. This is an actually this is an app. I came to me. They were developing some kind of culture app, and they were having an issue regarding the calculation of the area box, and I just solved the problem. You can see using this. You also that SVGs are not your friends, and I just gave them this idea of creating based where pixel based project. I have another project. This is from a very famous university. See, because done the 2020 Feb peak of the COVID-19, and client was from Johns Hopkins University because MS an issue in presenting the symptoms, estimated infected and estimated contacted patients. So he came to me and I just made a web app in GIS online for this time. This was in real time. So you can shift the dates, you can change the date, and specific date, a specific estimated contact can be used. Yeah. So this was another project on WebAudience API. This is a REST API, and I was given 9 images of drones, and I had converted these images to LAZ format, to point cloud format. I'm going to share some of the projects that I have done for my clients, and I'm sure that these projects will be. So because of Fiverr, I was in Google search for almost 2 years, and I was in top 16 GIS experts. So I belong to very normal and middle class family. Because of this earning, I was able to get started a startup named as Specialox, and also I do have partners who are convinced that I can do some job like doing mapping and that maps. Yeah. So here comes the third point, how we are going to come to the point where we are going to make a Fiverr gig. But before that, I want to discuss, it's very easy to get your first order on Fiverr and not on Upwork because of, I mean, less competition. If you will go on Upwork, you will find some of very experienced people who are going to be very competitive for you, where you will have to submit proposal. So if you are going to start, yeah, Fiverr is best for you. So here comes gig. In Fiverr, there is two terminologies. One is account and the second one is gig. So gig and account is not same thing. So gig is actually you can on one account you can have 10 gigs, or you can have 5 gigs, and 1 gig can be of maps and other can be of some kind of development, or you can also make a gig of let's say content writing. So one user can make multiple gigs. Yeah, gig is actually the derivation of services. So here is a gig, and this is very interesting. This is a level 2 seller. He is one of my competitor, and he is standing right from 2018. Yeah, he has very good reviews. I want you to see his gig before you create your own gig. Yeah. So I have distributed the creation of gig into 3 steps. So first one is the most crucial one is you should have the keyword managed right according to the to your need. Let's suppose you are making a gig for maps, or for specific GIS keyword, or for content writing. So what you will do, you will go to Fiverr, just type your keyword like I'm going to do it. So if you will search GIS, you will have, yeah. If you will search GIS, you will have 48 hits on 48 hits on one first page. These are most relevant hits to your topic. So just go to for any hit, like I'm doing. Yeah. So what you will have to do is you will have to copy the title of that gig, and then category of the gig, and tags and description. So for the first page, you will have to copy all of the 48 gigs. So yeah, you can see here, you have to copy this, you have to copy this, you have to copy this. You have to copy all the titles of first 48 gigs, and then you will have to copy tags and also description. So what you need to do after it, here comes the interesting part. You are going to put that specific title that you have copied from 48 or 45 gigs. You're going to get the keyword density for that specific title. So you can see, you can go to Google, you can find multiple keyword density tools. They are free, they are available for you. And here, just ignore the title word because we have included it in every gig. So here you can see that 13% of the keywords are content, and 12% are right. So what you are going to do is you will add just top 2 keywords, and this way you're going to make your title much more effective than that of your competitors. This way you are going to repeat for tags, you're going to repeat this same step for description as well. I'm running short of time. I'm going um, to complete my last point, which is copyright-free images and stay online. So when you are going to make your Fiverr gig, you must make it sure that you have designed all of your maps on your own. Either you can, if you haven't designed, I'm sure that you are all GIS freelancers or GIS developers or analysts or even students. You know how to use QGIS, you know how to use ArcGIS. So what you have to do is you have to make your own map and use 3 maps for gig creation. Now you have a shiny gig. You are online using your mobile. Rinse and repeat it for 1 month, and don't put any kind of bot on browser. There are some of my friends, they used to use some kind of bots. There are some Chrome extensions that just reload the Fiverr page for, like, say 10 times per minute. So Fiverr is getting clever and it will detect it. And here comes the conclusion. So these are few final tips for a better understanding of platform. Fiverr is very different from in real persons. Here we have to be very professional. We have to talk to our clients with name. Let's say we are talking to Hey Khan or Hey Alan or Hey Erin. So his second tip, never edit it. So once you have made you are not going to edit. You have to delete it and you have to make new gig. This is the best practice. And yeah, so you're going to use free images, copyright free. You are going to stay online and also specifically put a Gmail customization notification app as well, so that you can be notified before. So you should share your gig on social media as well, and this will increase the boost of your gig. This will help you to jump to near pages like 10, 9, and 8, and main objective is just to make our gig reach the first page. In start, try to convince clients to do more quantity orders, even for lesser dollars. This is the best opportunity for you to get as much number of orders as much you can, and use one account for one laptop. You will be banned if you will use 2 accounts on one laptop. So this is all from my side. I'm sure that you have enjoyed. You can also ask any type of questions in chat. I know that I'm running out of time, but I'm happy to answer all of questions. Thank you, Evan.
Thank you very much. That was really interesting to see your journey through all of that. I'm just monitoring the chat. Thank you for your presentation. Does anyone have any questions for either of our presenters today? I know there's lots of helpful tips and lots of great resources that they have both provided us here. But don't be shy you're able to unmute yourself if you like, if you want to speak to the group. I am noting that there is an issue with Slack, so I'm sure Danielle and I will resolve that promptly. Hopefully I didn't send a bad link to everybody. Okay,
I have a question for
yes.
Wahala. What does level 2 freelance means?
So when you are going to start from very base, I mean, you are new seller. So the first step is new seller, then you will go to level 1 seller, and then you will go to level 2 seller. And after that, you will have to earn $20,000, and you'll have to satisfy 400 clients, then you can become top seller. I'm very near to become top seller. Yeah.
Thank you.
I see another question here from Vincent. Does Fiverr offer agency or business profile?
Yeah, Fiverr do offer agency type profile, but it is not exactly agency. It is studio. So agency is the term used by Upwork, and it is not applicable in Fiverr. Yeah. So same functionality is available in studio of Fiverr. Yeah.
Okay, we have another question. If I'm an undergrad and just starting, do you suggest I set up a gig for one specific task or a variety of skills?
Well, I believe, and I can say on my experience that if you don't even know how to map, you should make map making do. So here comes the point that client just came, and most of the time they are in hurry, and sometimes they are very easy to. You can say to them that we will research this on Google. So yeah, this is possible. Coming to your first point, that what you should do is you should just make a single gig, and keep it, remember that you should not edit that gig. You should make that gig in the very first day, and try it, share it on your Facebook or on your Instagram, and try to get some clients. And if you will get at least four to five orders, I'm sure that you will jump your gig to 10th or 9th page. Yeah.
And I have another question about Fiverr. What has been your favorite project that you landed using Fiverr?
Using Fiverr, I was able to get close to one of person who was from UK. He is currently my partner, and we are currently doing real-time business. You can say I'm sitting in my office, and I was not able to afford all of this. This is all because of Fiverr. So when you come to Fiverr, you have entered a new world. There are many people who are in a very good position, and they need your technicalities. At least they know you. They can contact you anytime. So this is an opportunity that Fiverr provides more effectively than Upwork. Because on Upwork, it is very hard for you to text. So yeah.
Well, thank you. Before we end, any questions from the audience? If not, just note that our programming starts tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. And all of our links are on our webpage. I believe we're starting with let's think with the industry panel. So if you're interested in this session, you'll probably be interested in the 9:30. But thank you everyone for attending today and joining us and kicking off our first day of GIS week. And thank you to our presenters for giving us your time and your successful stories and resources that hopefully our community will really benefit from. So thank you very much.